Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when you're watching this and welcome or welcome back to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. My name is Kirsty and I'm coming to you from a very sunny Paisley in Scotland. If I'm a bit distracted and looking down the way, it's because Oogie has finally decided that she is done cooking in the sun and she is flumped on the floor and stretched out to cool off. And I moved her toy and she's not happy because the toy has a bell on it and she kept swiping it, and yeah, it was gonna get annoying. Also, if you're wondering what this red mark is, I took my glasses off because look at the amount of glare that is on my glasses because I sit quite close to a window. So yeah, hello, welcome. This is the crochet video that I'll be doing in September. This is basically the crochet work I have done mostly in the last week, but since the last fuller podcast that I've done. Once we kind of get into the swing of the more segmented videos, it will be mostly like what I've done that month in the terms of crochet and then knitting and so on and so forth. So I have one finished object that still needs kind of like pinned out and steamed. I have one that I've done quite a bit of work on, and I've got another one that now just needs assembly and some other little knitted parts to the crochet. So I will jump in with the finished one, which is just in a bag I got out of TK Maxx. Whilst they've got their Halloween stuff in, so yay for that. My only issue with these bags, that'd be the mailman. My only issue with these bags is if you're wearing like a strappy top or something, or like you have skin, these straps are not very friendly to skin. So that is something that I have discovered. So the first crochet project and only finished object is my second Memento Mori overlay mosaic crochet. Apologies if you can hear like the cars and stuff. I've got the windows open because it's just so nice today. So I got this done like where is it? So everything after like this bunched up section of ends is everything I got done on Saturday, which I think is quite a big amount of work. I was meant to do overtime on Saturday, but I spent 30 minutes trying to get my systems to actually work, and then I kind of was just like, why bother? I wasn't feeling my best. I was actually really quite lightheaded and dizzy anytime like I remotely leant forward. And I decided that overtime is not compulsory, and why should I be the only one stressed out about the numbers and the workload? And so I stopped trying to get online and came downstairs and I treated myself to a full day of crochet. Scott was watching football, and then they were meant to be watching wrestling, and then they were doing gaming like over the Xbox with their headsets on. So I just had a really lovely day just getting this finished. So this is the Memento Mori mosaic overlay mosaic crochet pattern by Get Your Hook On. This was, if not probably still is, a free pattern, and I got mine off of Ravelry. I will try my best to link down below in the description box. But I made one with the reverse colours, if you remember. And then I decided I had enough yarn to make a second one. And so I asked my sister, would you want one? And she said yes. So now I don't know which one I want to keep. I'm probably going to keep the one with the black as the background, to be honest, and she can get the pink one. But I started panicking. I don't know, like some of my ends are quite long on the original one. Especially like on this side here, you can see like some of my ends are really quite long, and I was looking at the dwindling amount of yarn that I had. Actually, I'm not going to put these away because I'm going to actually steam block them. So yeah, I was watching the yarn go down and down and down, and I started panicking, and I ran out of black, and I ran out of black. Like, that was how much black I had left, and that was here. So I still had 9 rows when I ran out of black. So again, that's like, if I show you on the right side, and of course the sun has moved around, this is going to make podcasting very interesting. So that was my row, which is here. Let's try and get all these ends. So yeah, from here I had to use a different black, which thankfully I had more than enough. You cannot tell that I've used a different black, even though it was completely different brands. The one that I made the majority of the project in was done in Wendy Supreme DK, and my emergency backup yarn was the Stylecraft Special DK. So they're both acrylic yarns. They both looked like exactly the same. Like, I'm looking at that with quite a critical eye, and I can't see a very obvious, like, I can't see any difference, never mind an obvious difference. So I doubt my sister's gonna know or notice. Like, she'll know if she watches this, obviously, but she'll not notice a difference. But then I started kind of panicking that I was going to run out of pink, and I really didn't want to run out and buy an extra ball of pink if it was only going to be for like 1 or 2 rows. And I was like, depending on where I run out of yarn, I could maybe get away with like not doing a row, but it really depended on where I was going to run out. And I was so adamant that I was going to run out of yarn that I was pleasantly surprised when I didn't, and I managed to get the whole thing finished with a little bit extra to go. So I don't need this anymore. I don't really keep acrylic yarns as scrap, so this will probably be just going straight into the bin. But I did use 2 different balls of wool that I didn't actually realise at the time. I thought I'd bought, because it was kind of like colour work and I have like my knitting brain, I thought I'd bought 2 balls of the Wendy with wool, but I actually got the Wendy with wool in the pink, which has slightly less or slightly more yardage. Slightly more yardage. So the pink had slightly more than the black, which was in the Wendy Supreme DK. So this was fully acrylic, whereas this one was 75% acrylic, 25% wool. So the less yardage definitely contributed as to why I ran out of the black, but I also know for a fact my ends are a lot longer on the original, the first one I done, and that was going to be a huge contributing factor as to why I definitely ran out of the black. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed making this. I found that doing it the second time around, I had way more confidence, and I was able to put YouTube videos on in the background and have stuff playing and noise basically. Whereas when I done it the first time, I just needed complete silence, like no noise, no talking, no nothing. If Scott wanted to say anything to me, I'd have to be like, right, let me get to a place where I can have a conversation, and then I would put my work down. Whereas this, like, I was quite happily working away with some noise in the background, so that was awesome. So that is my only finished project, but I'll show you the one that is nearly finished, but actually has still quite a lot of work to do, and that is my hexagon cardigan. So I actually have this now joined in the back. I have a cuff in one sleeve and a cuff in the other sleeve, and I currently have the bottom waistband on a needle on a cable, because I'm knitting all of these components, so the collar, the waistband and the cuffs are all going to be knitted. So I've got the waistband on needles, and I've only done like one row of 2x2 rib, but that is better than no rows. And I just want to triple check something. I might have made a boo-boo. No, I didn't. It's fine. So one thing I want to show off, and I might struggle, is, we're gonna excuse the ends. I gave myself more work yesterday. I cut this amount of yarn out of and off of this cardigan, and you might look at that and be like, what did you do? And you'd be 100% correct. Because I am basically now making this up, I am no longer following a video pattern. I'm gonna pull some of these ends through so I can hide them. I'm no longer following a video tutorial, which is where I got the initial instructions as to how to start this. I am now basically free-flowing this project, and what you might be able to see is that there's so many ends, is that I have rows and then they stop, and this is now on a diagonal to a point, and it's the exact same on the other side. I made sure I had the same point, and I decided that I didn't want this original section flipped over or flipped in, and I'm so convinced I'm going to make this into a shawl collar. So I decided to wing it, have a little bit of creative freedom, and I took some scissors to my work after making sure I had the stitches on basically oh, what do you call those things? Where you put a line of yarn in so that your stitches can't drop. Words completely gone. Let's call it a safety net for just now. Somebody will put it in the comments, no doubt. But yeah, I decided to run a piece of yarn through the bottom cluster, through like this section here, so the very bottom cluster. I would run my needle through there with the yarn, and I selected where I wanted it to go as best on a diagonal as I could, and where possible I basically just ripped back the yarn. But because I was doing some of these in the reverse direction, I had to cut and then basically unweave the yarn. And then I finished off by just putting a border round. So I'm really happy with this now. It sits a lot better, and once I've got the waistband in, I will then pick up all the way through the front. I do intend to put buttonholes in this and get some really quirky buttons, but I think that's going to be quite a while yet, and I'm not sure in the bottom, so this is going to be a learning curve for the bottom. I picked up with 4mm needles excuse me. I picked up all my stitches with a 4mm needle, and then I quickly reduced down to 3.5, and I'm doing 2x2 ribbing. But here's my thing, I have picked up 268 stitches, and I picked up 3 per cluster because I've got 3 crochet stitches in there, and then 1 between each cluster. So at the moment I don't know if this is too many stitches, and I need to get an extra cable and spread these stitches out and see if I have too many stitches. I don't want, unlike the cuffs which really pull it in and have like a big baggy balloon sleeve, I don't want the waistband at the bottom to pull anything in. I just want it to sit nicely, but I don't want it to flare out either. So this is where I need to check something. So before I go any further, I'm going to get a longer cable if I can. So these are currently on my Chiaogu needles, but I'm gonna have to find 4mm in my Knit Pros, because I have already my setup here which has got my extender on it. So I have to find 4mm needles on my Knit Pros and get that onto the Knit Pro needles with the extender, because I don't think I have an extra Chiaogu needle in the small size. There I can do like an extension. So that is going to be something I need to do between now and when I next work on this. And then once the ribbing is done, then I'll pick up, and I will need a very long cable for that to do from the bottom of the waistband all the way up around the neck and down, and then I need to figure out how to do a shawl collar. So that's the plan. But I'm really happy with this. I'm just gonna throw it on top of what I'm wearing just now. Just remember, it's not gonna sit correct because I have the waistband on a shorter needle. But do you see how that now sits and comes forward? And when it's sitting correctly, it comes together just at my cleavage, basically. Let's call it cleavage. And then obviously I'm going to have quite a chunky collar by the time you get to here, and it'll be nice and it's going to look awesome. My big baggy sleeves. So yeah, I'm really happy with this, especially now that I've cut basically this extra fabric away and it's now not going to annoy me. So yeah, very happy with this project. This was, I need to jump onto my iPad and get the details. Oh dear. Because I would look on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone. So let's see. Wonder if I can actually find the video, because I've watched so much on YouTube. View all history. I could be scrolling for quite a while. But yeah, this was on Ravelry. It's a video, a free video or a paid for pattern. And because I wasn't quite sure if I was going to actually make this and enjoy it for that matter, I just went with the free video. But knowing how much I've enjoyed this now, I would probably go back and buy the pattern like come payday. Am I ever going to be able to find this? How long ago did I start this project? I didn't even watch, oh, that was the thing. Like I followed the start of it. Oh, I've watched so much Elise Myers stuff. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It is the crochet tutorial for a granny stitch hexagon cardigan by the Craft and a Cuppa channel, and I followed it up to a point and then I just went my own way with it, and like I didn't even follow any instructions in joining the back or what to do if you had got to the width that you wanted, because obviously you do one half and then you go and you do your other half. I hadn't followed any instructions after basically the first couple of rows to get the correct hexagon. because the education system failed me, and I can't do that on my own. But yeah, I do highly recommend her video, but it is something you can then go on your own and do what you want with it. Like I say, I only followed it for like the first probably like 8 rounds, and then after that I've done everything all on my own. But I love it so much. It's so bright, it's so colourful. It is going to be heavy. It already is quite a weighty cardigan, and that is before I get the waistband finished and before I even start picking up the collar. But it will be worth it. It's going to be a fantastic winter jumper. Terrible for summer, but fantastic for winter. Okay, let's stuff that in its bag. I can now throw out all of this. I can throw this out. Like I cut this all off yesterday, and I told Scott what I was planning on doing. He's just like, are you sure? I'm like, I'll find out one way. I'm either going to be really sad when it doesn't work and I don't have a cardigan, or I'm going to be really happy. And thankfully I was very happy. My last work in progress for today is an update on the, an update on the Ariana cardigan by Barocco. I had all of my hexagons finished. No, I didn't. I didn't have all my hexagons finished last time we spoke. So I now have all 46 of my hexagons. They all do look a bit different. I have done, I think 7 or 8 depending, in different colours. So one will end in red and start in purple, one will start in purple, and so on and so forth. So let's see, there's my orange one. But it'd be easier if I just bring out my stack. This is my stack of hexagons. No, I've got hexagons on the brain now. These are my stack of granny squares. I basically had to do, I think it was only another 4 full hexagons, and then it was on to what really was my focus, which was the half squares, and I had to make 14 of these, and then all I had to make was 2 quarter ones. And these are at the very front of the cardigan. They sit right down at the waistband and they sit like that. And then from there you put either your halves or your full squares in. So I now have all the components ready to go. All I have to do is make some time to sit down and lay them out on the ground and put them in the order that I want them, and then try and join them all together, and we'll see how that goes. I've heard it's not the easiest task in the world, that it can be quite finicky and footery and the instructions aren't the clearest, but I haven't read through it. I didn't jump ahead in the pattern. I just made all the components that I needed to make, and then once I'm ready I'm going to sit down, lay it all out on the floor. Actually, I might do that today. No, I'm not going to do today. Today is cross stitch day, but I do want to get it all laid out soon so that I can move on to the next part. But I think I'm just going to set myself one project at a time. So the next one for crochet that I'll finish is the hexagon cardigan. Then I'll move back to the Ariana cardigan. And then I think I'll need a new crochet project. I need to look through my projects and see what I still have. Sorry if you can hear the neighbours outside, or the neighbours' friends. Right, that's me. That's all the crochet I have. I don't have any other crochet. I do want to make a couple of amigurumi stuff for the lady in my craft group who is currently pregnant. But I don't want to jump the gun on that one because I'm just not sure who's going to make what. And I don't want her to get really overwhelmed by everything people are making. So we'll see. I have one thing I know for definite I'm going to make, and I can't wait to make it, along with some other little bits and pieces like socks and stuff. Those are a given, but that will be in the knitting side. But in the crochet side, I definitely want to see what amigurumi I can make. That might be me for garments for a while, but I definitely want to find some more mosaic crochet stuff that I can do. I also really want to try tapestry crochet. It's similar to mosaic, but you work on the reverse side, and therefore it's more like, if I can compare it to something, I would compare it to intarsia knitting, but I haven't tried it yet, so don't hold me to that one. But yeah, I'm gonna go tidy up, put all this stuff back in its place, and then I'm going to cross stitch for the rest of the day. So thank you so much for joining. If you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. That would be amazing. I am trying to grow the channel as best I can, but at the same point, I am just so happy that you're here with me whilst I share my makes on my little part of the internet. So yeah, I'm going to go before the sun really comes down, because I'm already red enough thanks to my rosacea. I don't want sunburn on top of it. And I'm just going to get nice and cozy. Well, I think I've got a washing to hang up. That's quite near the end of its cycle. But yeah, I'm going to get nice and cozy. I'm going to pour myself a cold drink because it's very warm today. And I'm just going to cross stitch my little heart out. And until the next video, might be next week, might be in 2 weeks time. I haven't figured that out yet. But until the next video, stay safe. And thank you so much for your time and watching this channel. Bye everyone.